यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान घन प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्र वेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। May the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita, the 12th words of 15th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yadadityagatan Tejaha Jagadbhasayate Khilam यच्चंद्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्. This 15th chapter, which begins with the description of samsara vriksha. What exactly the samsara vriksha is? Samsara vriksha, which is described as the cause of entire problem. Because from birth to death, we find so many varieties of problems. The problems which comes from our own body maintenance, the problem which is due to the surrounding creatures, the problem which are unknown or sometimes which are from nature, means natural disasters. But all this problem has got the connectivity with the samsara tree. Samsara tree means what? The tree which is explained by the 2.5 verses of this chapter. Therefore, this chapter is very unique. It has to be understood. What is the source of the problem? The source of the problem is known as samsara tree. We have to understand what exactly the samsara is. Samsara, which is described as in the form of tree, so that we can understand, because tree has got three levels, three portions with that. The first portion is root. Without root, there is no tree at all. And the second portion is trunk, the main trunk of a tree. Then the third portion is branches with leaves and fruits. Like the proper source of the problem and the nature of the problem, then the impact of problem which is experienced in the form of suffering. All these things were explained very nicely by Bhagavan Krishna, having compared with Ashwatha tree. That Ashwatha tree has got the 7 kinds of similarities which we understood very well. Then in order to slay that tree, we need to have 4 kinds of sadhanas. That also was told by Bhagavan Krishna very nicely up to the verse number 4 and 5. They introduce 4 kinds of sadhanas which we learnt as Vairagya, Sharanagati, Brahmavicharaha, Sadgunaha. Then once a person adapts these 4 kinds of sadhanas, then he will be enlightened the knowledge of the Supreme Self. That Supreme Self which is explained in the verse number 6. Then from verse number 7 onwards, Bhagavan started explaining about the Sarvatmakatvam. What exactly the Sarvatmakatvam? Sarvatmakatvam means that supreme consciousness which alone has evolved in the form of Jagat, in the form of creatures, in the form of Chetana, Achetana, Tattva. That portion was enlightened in the chapter number 13 in the form of, or in the subject which was named as equation. Aikya Bhavam, that equation Bhagavan brings here very shortly but in different angles, so that we can assimilate the content of 13th chapter more easier way. That's what the intention of Bhagavan Krishna. Now we saw from verse number 7 to 11 that aikya between Jiva and Ishvara. He says, Ahameva Jivaha Mamaivamshaha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanataha. I am nothing but Jiva. We can take in this way. Sarvatmakatvam means I am everything. Bhagavan says I am everything. Everything means what? That everything to be understood as the Srishti. I am nothing but the creation. The creation, so which is not other than me. Now Bhagavan divides this creation into two portions. Chetana Tattvam, Achetana Tattvam. Or we can say Chetana Prapancham, Achetana Prapancham. What is the Chetana Prapancham? Chetana means that which is in the form of illumining entity. Or we can say illumining entity, or which is in the form of brilliance, or in the form of consciousness, in the form of limited consciousness. Now you see, I am conscious about myself, you are conscious about yourself, every animal is conscious about itself. Not only that, the all movable sentient objects are nothing but Chetana Prapancham. Chetana means consciousness. Prapancham means the world, creation. The fivefold creation. Prapancha means, so pancha pancha. So pancha means five. So which means, the layers of five materials. Now world is nothing but what? Chetana Prapancha, Achetana Prapancha. All dead materials are called Achetana Prapancha. All these sentient materials are known as Chetana Prapancha. But according to Vedanta, the creation itself Jadam, because Maya, Prakriti itself Jadam. Jadam means inert. That inert is being divided into two as sentient inert, insentient inert. Therefore, when you get to know the word of Chetana, you should not think that Shuddha Chaitanyam. No. That the pure consciousness is different than this Chetana Prapancham. Therefore, we add the word of Prapancham. Now, Prapancham means what? The world. The world, the dead world or sentient world. Insentient world, dead world. Our life is only with these two. Jada Prapancha, Chetana Prapancha. Now our body is what? Is it Jada Prapancha or Chetana Prapancha? If you are thinking about the body without the consciousness which illumines our own self, then it is also called Jada Prapancha. Or we can say the combination of Jada and Chetana is known as our human being, human body. Now, therefore we saw all sentient objects means consciousness principle which is being taken as in the name of Jivaha. That Jivaha is nothing but me. That was the content from verse number 7 to 11 which we have completed. Then the next subject matter begins with the verse number 12 up to verse number 15, in which Bhagavan says, me alone who is in the form of insentient world. Now you think about the materials which we utilize in our world, in our life. Sometimes, we become careless about, we become irresponsible about the objects which are supposed to be dead material. We throw the car keys, we throw books, and we throw sometimes food also. If the food is not likable, we waste the food. Now, when we come to know is all that materials are also nothing but God, then your life entirely it will get a different transformation. That is what the benefit of knowledge. When you come to know there is nothing insentient and sentient prapancha, the prapancha is nothing but Ishvara. The equation which was done in the 13th chapter, the same thing has been brought here, but as a conclusion. in order to give the final touch, because the 15th chapter is the final chapter for this subject matter, which is known as equation, aikyatva, between Jiva and Ishvara, Jagadishvara Aikyatvam. That's what is beginning now. Jagadishvara. Jagat means what? Jayate gacchate iti Jagat. So that which jayate gacchati iti Jagat. That which is born, that which is gone. Born and gone, born and gone, born and gone. Grammatically, you may find some mistake by using the born and gone word, but that is the meaning. You have to understand. That which is born, that which is gone. That which is gone means what? That which is to go. That which is to go means what? That which is going to come back. That is the meaning. Which goes, that will come. Which comes, that will go. So now this is like a pendulum of a wall clock, like, left to right, right to left. So that is the nature of the world. That which goes and comes, goes and comes, going and coming, going and coming. It's called Jagat. That Jagat is nothing but me. That is the understanding. That is what equating between Ishvara and Jagat. Both are not belonging to us. It seems to be like that, isn't it? Because I do have the body, which is the part of the Jagat. Then the equation between my body and the Ishvara, the equation between the nature, called, the nature which is experienced in different form. Different form. Sun, moon, stars, earth, and mountains, rivers, air, water. So all these natural phenomena are, it seems to be insentient, but they are not insentient. They are nothing but the origination of Ishvara alone. Ishvara pervades in all of them. So Bhagavan brings a few examples of the world. He cannot bring all the examples, because he cannot say that chair is nothing but me, and bus is nothing but me, the tire is nothing but me, the steering is nothing but me, and two-wheeler is nothing but me, stove and gas stove and induction stove, they are nothing but me, and your eyes are nothing but me, your legs are nothing but me, your fingers are nothing but me, the roads are nothing but me, the mountains are nothing but me. All this job was done by Krishna in the chapter number 10, 11. So both chapters introduced Parinami Upadana Karana Rupena Ishvaraha Astiti. So Ishvara exists in the form of Parinami Upadana Karana. Ishvara exists in the form of cause, the cause which appears to be as owning many forms. That we have learnt already. Now, okay. So now I have given a kind of introduction of this verse number 12. But from the standpoint of normal person who doesn't have any preliminary knowledge about the scriptures, how can they understand this verse? For them, worldly materials are dead materials, except their body. So there they think this body is sentient, and the power of the world. So world is nothing but in the form of energy. Every object should have the energy. Without energy, the object cannot maintain its nature. For example, mountain has got its own energy. Therefore, the rock of the mountain means that density, that strength, the strongness of the rock, which is in the form of mountain, it should have that rockness. That rockness should have the firmness. Otherwise, it cannot stand. Something sustains mountain as a mountain. It means what? That sustaining capacity of the mountain is called the energy of the mountain. And sun has got the energy. Bhagavan says here, Aditya Gatam Tejaha. Tejaha means here we need not to take the brightness, that light of the sun it is to be taken as the power of solar system. The solar power, the solar energy, that Shakti is nothing but me. That Shakti which is the source of entire creation. Without sunlight there is no creation. And that sunlight which is reflected in the moon, moon borrows the light. So between moon and sun there are crores of kilometers, miles difference. But that sunlight, it travels and it gets reflected. That reflected sunlight from the moon, we call it the lunar energy. That nourishes all the vegetables, peoples. That alone nourishes in the night. During the night alone, all these vegetables, fruits, they grow well. They get completeness. They get complete growth. All these plants are getting nourished by the light of moon. Bhagavan says, the energy of the sun, the energy which is in the form of the light of sun and moon, not only that, Agni, the power which is in the form of illumining the things, that fire is also nothing but me. The energy which makes fire as the fire, that blazing capacity is nothing but me. It means what? The objects which are available before my birth, I am going to live with the object. Himalaya was there before our birth. The Pacific Ocean, that Indian Ocean, Arabic Ocean, all of them, they are existing before our birth. All planets, they exist. They keep on going in their orbit. Before our birth itself, it was on. I come in between and go. Therefore, now I should know, I need not to separate Ishvara from these old materials. That's what the ignorance we commit. Because for us, everything has to be becoming evident to our eyes, means perception, sense organs, which is not true. Bhagavan says, the power of solar system is which is nothing but me. The sun who is nothing but me. The moon, the energy of moon which is nothing but me. The energy of Agni which is nothing but me. What Bhagavan wants to say, the dead materials, what you use in your life. What do we use in our life, in day-to-day life? Everything, when you use a stick in order to walk in old age. When we use the tripod in engage for a support to learn how to walk, and the pen which we write in order to communicate something, the device which and all, what and all used in the form of mobile, in the form of car, bus, two-wheelers. The object which we use to live, we call it a home or house, and the agricultural materials, all kinds of machines, all kinds of instruments, all kinds of objects, in the form of cloth, in the form of spectacles, all of them are nothing but Ishvara. Now it becomes very big problem once you understand all of them. Now, there won't be any kinds of problem. You will be very clear. You will become more conscious about the conscious of this dead material. There is nothing in this world called a dead material. It seems to be not reacting to my action, but I should not mishandle those objects. That has to be the understanding. We can protect our life from owning bad karma full. If I am not aware about this, if I keep on throwing my keys, my books, my things which I use, even when we wear flip-flops, chappals, shoes, they are also not away from Ishvara, my God. So when, in Vedic lifestyle, when we wake up in the morning, we have to ask sorry from the earth. Samudravasane devi parvatasthana mandale vishnupatni namastubhyam Kshamasvapadasparishami. So we have to take, because we have to apologize her before putting our leg on the earth. What does it seems to be? What kind of understanding that we have to have through that words? To adapt a proper attitude towards the earth means we consider earth as nothing but Bhagavan. In every Saraswati Pujya, which comes in a year during the Shakti Puja, Navaratri day, we worship all kinds of instrument which is used for all kinds of purposes in our life. All pencil, pen, book are like devices, machines, two-wheeler, everything is being worshipped in order to bring the attitude, in order to generate the understanding. All of them are nothing but Ishvara Swarupam alone. Our forefather, I don't know how brilliantly they have launched the philosophy, the fact of the truth, and they have made us to go along, live along with all those systems in our life. In every festival, in every rituals, they have brought, whether you understand or not, you can have a better life, means the best life in this body itself. Your age means your life, your time, which helps us to not waste the time, duration of our life. So beautiful, because they were compassionate people. Now, by understanding this, we have become more responsible creature in the planet Earth. That's what when the fact is established in our mind, in our buddhi will own the responsibility and it will respond properly. So now Bhagavan says this energy of three kinds of material, sun, moon and Agni, we have to include the stars and we have to include the lightning. All of them are nothing but me. Okay, then the next verse, let us read it. Gama vishyacha bhutani dharayamaham ojasam pushnami chaushadhe sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakah. Gam avishya. Gam means Prithvi. So avishya means entering the earth. Okay. Dharayami aham ojasa. I alone sustain bhutani dharayami. I alone sustain all the creatures by myself, by my strength. I alone nourish all the planets being in the form of moon. Somo bhutva pushnami chaushadhi. Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Rasatmakaha aushadhihi pushnami. I alone grow all kinds of planets which are endowed with nourishments. Rasam means nourishments. Nourishments in order to nourish the creature of the world. So this also we will understand with the same understanding which we had in the 13th chapter. But this understanding, which is going to be the last portion of the subject matter of Aikya Bhava. Hereafter he is not going to talk about Aikya, because 16th chapter which talks about Daiva Asura Sampat Vibhagaha, the division of demonness and celestial being. In the 17th chapter he is going to describe there are three kinds of Shraddhas, three kinds of Yajnas, three kinds of Dana, three kinds of tapas, all kinds of five, So Yajna, Dana, Tapaha, then Shraddha. So all these things are explained in the 17th chapter. Then the 18th chapter, which is going to be miscellaneous, because all summaries will be given. The main chapter which comes as the real climax is the 15th chapter alone. Now we are in the main, very important portion, which brings the final understanding of Vedanta. We will continue this from next session tomorrow. Harihi Om. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ